But then so many demons came there to disturb them. So they decided to move across the Jamuna to Vrindavan. And as we described, they made a very wonderful procession with so many bullock carts. What does it say? Rata. Gopya Rudo Rata Nutna. It doesn't say Land Rover or Toyota van or Tata Sumo. Ratha. They had bullock carts. This is the wonderful way of transportation in Braj, by bullock carts. Because nowadays everybody has tractor instead, and we don't know where the bulls are. We won't discuss that here in this holy place. So they were going by huge procession of bullock carts. So, and it's described that all the ladies were very nicely dressed. So even just for a simple thing to move from one place to another, they were all very nicely dressed. This means that the Kaur people were very opulent. Though they were just doing simple work of taking care of cows and agriculture, actually these are the real opulences of life. Like Prabhupada said, you can't eat nuts and bolts. Everybody works very hard in the factory to produce so many nuts and bolts, but these things we cannot eat. And we're all attracted to leave the village, the peaceful life of the village, to come live in the hellish life of the city, work in the hellish factory, just because we'll get some pieces of paper with some king or queen picture on the front. And somehow we believe that it has some value. For the Kaur men, their wealth was cows and milk and butter and yogurt. And they had so much, you just imagine, I don't know what butter costs here in London. How much does it cost per kilo?
Half a pound is about.
That's all.
50 cents. £6. About £6.
6 pounds for a kilo, my goodness. And even in Braj, now it is like 250 rupees a kilo for butter. I don't know what the poor people do. But the Kaur men of Braj, we have heard in Krishna book, how for festivals they would throw butter and ghee and yogurt on each other. We can't imagine doing such a thing. But they were so much opulence. They had no factories. They had no BMW. But they were so opulent that they were able to throw buttermilk and yogurt on each other in festivals like that. And here they're making a big move from Gokul to Vrindavan, and all the ladies are very nicely dressed. And it's always interesting, I never seen in Krishna book, always describing how they're decorated with kumkum on their breasts, but I've never seen this. But always, everywhere we read in Krishna books, this is interesting. So they're very opulently dressed and decorated, and describes Rohini and Yasoda. They could not be separated from Krishna Balaram even for a moment. So they sat on the cart that we described yesterday, how Krishna and Balaram are sitting there asking so many questions to Yasoda and Rohini, and they're answering all their questions. And then finally, after crossing over the Jamuna, they passed just behind where our Krishna Balaram Mandir is, and they went up to where the Delhi road meets the Bhaktivedanta Swami Marg. That place is called Chattikara. And here we're given the hint. Shakati Vatta. Shakati, actually the original word was Sakat. Nowadays it's been come down to Chatti. But Sakati Vata Pariyantas Chandrarda Kara Samstite. They put all their bullock carts in a half moon, because they were going to camp there for some time. So they put it in half moon. And here the description is given later in Harivams, that Kantakibi, there was thorn trees. We call kata. Here's this kanta. But usually in Hindi we say kata because it cuts you, so it's called kata. It's thorn. And so many thorn trees are there. So one side they're protected by thorn trees. It's like we see many places in Braj. They put up a whole row of thorn trees to protect their fields, or they'll cut down all the branches of the thorn trees and put them along the sides of their fields so the cows won't go into the fields and eat their crops. So one side was thorn trees, and around they put the bullock carts like this. And they made Ardha Chandra, half moon. And in the morning, in the middle of that half moon, all the gopis got up, they milked the cows, they immediately took the yogurt stock that they had and put it into big pots and began to churn it into butter. They began to put it on the fire to make ghee, like this, and they camped there at this place. It became known as Sakatikara, then gradually it's come now to Chattikara. It's a little place right where you turn to come into Vrindavan by the Bhaktivedanta Swami Marg. The actual official name of that road, the city has named it Bhaktivedanta Swami Marg, Bhaktivedanta Swami Road. This is very significant because we're only able to enter Vrindavan by the Bhaktivedanta Swami Marg in more ways than one. Not just by this road, but Prabhupada has given us the path how to reach Vrindavan. Because otherwise, Vrindavan is very difficult to achieve. It's said even great demigods and rishis are always worshipping and praying that somehow they can enter into Vrindavan. Even the goddess of fortune, she's on the opposite side of the Jamuna River, in a place called Belvan, also known as Bilbavan, or because Lakshmi Ji is there, it's called Srivan. And she's also trying. Even Lakshmi has not been able to enter Vrindavan. Because it's described that if one wants to enter Braj, then he has to become follower of a resident of Braj. Specifically, we're singing every day to Tulsi that just make me a follower of the cowherd damsels of Braj. So how Sri Lakshmi Ji, the wife of Vaikuntapati, Lord Narayan, how is she going to become follower of cowherd grove? So because of that abhiman, she has not been allowed to enter into Rasadam. She's on the other side, still sitting there. In fact, on the after Kartik, then there's 2 months, so that at that second month, I can't remember what they call it now in Hindi, but on that month, every Thursday in that month, there's big Khichdi Mela. And it is big. If you go there, you will find at least 30,000 villagers here all day long. 30,000, 30,000 villagers come there. And if you go by car, you'll be in big trouble because the road is very narrow. It's impossible even for one car to go, and they're trying to come and go, and it's just a big monster traffic jam. The easiest way to go is just take a boat across the Jamuna and you walk for 15 minutes, just hardly a kilometer or two, maybe 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers maximum. Then you come to Belvan. And they will see that everybody has set up, all the types of businessmen have come there and brought their cooks and their pots and pans and their stock of rice and dal and sabjis and lots of chilies, and they're cooking up big bats of khichdi and distributing it to everybody. And they will just grab you and sit you down. Especially as soon as they see some white devotees there, they immediately grab you. They take great pleasure in feeding you. But you will take one bite of that khichdi and so be warned.